Alright guys, welcome to today's video. Today we will learn how to set up a Google Ads brand campaign and also why. Because that's a common question and the valid question I get a lot of times is, why do I even need to set it up in the first place? I rank quite high with my brand anyway, right? So if somebody is looking for me, for my brand, I rank quite high anyway. I'm on the first page. And it's a valid question, right? But there are a couple of reasons. It always depends, but there are a couple of reasons why it makes sense. First of all, to preface it, it's very cheap to bid on your own brand. So the CPC is super low if you want to bid on your own brand. In most cases, it depends as well. So just to preface it, it's very cost efficient anyway, right? But there are a couple of benefits. First of all, benefit number one, that way you make sure you pop up very highly, usually at that first position. You can control it kind of in certain ways as well, right? You pop up at the first position most of the times, which is not the cases for most brands, especially for brands where they have the keyword in the brand name, right? For example, with my agency, ZenoX Media, if the brand name would be something like Google Ads Media Agency or something, it would be very hard for me to rank at number one, right? Because like that's one of the main keywords, so it's literally impossible. But people still might look for it, and they might look for my agency if that would be the name. And then you kind of have to make sure you show up there, right? Otherwise, yeah, your competition shows up before you. And that's the case for a lot of service-based businesses as well. And it makes a lot of sense, right? Also for the SEO optimization for Google Maps, for example, you want to have the keyword kind of like in the brand name. Anyway, but those brands usually don't show up on the first page. So it makes sense for them to set up a Google Ads brand campaign. Another very valid reason is with an ad, you have way more options on how you want to display your ad in that case, right? Compared to the organic listing. Like you can promote a current sale, for example. You can do that quite efficiently. You can pin certain headlines in the ad and make sure that pops up, right? So you can be very creative with it, and therefore it usually has like a higher click-through rate and sometimes even a higher conversion rate in that case, right? And again, in combination with showing up at the top, having more creative freedom in terms of messaging and everything, that leads to more sales with a good return on investment, basically. And another very, very valid reason, again, it depends on the brand, but sometimes competitors bid on your brand name. So they have a brand campaign for your brand term, and then you want to do the same just for your own protection, right? For your brand protection, because you don't want to have your competitors bidding on your brand, and when one of your potential leads or customers is looking for your brand, they land on the website of the competitor, right? And potentially sometimes buy there. We sometimes run competitor campaigns and have a really great ROAS. So depending on the niche, where it's super, super competitive, that works quite well. And you want to avoid that at all costs and set up a brand campaign, at least for your own protection. So in a nutshell, in most cases, it makes a lot of sense to actually set up a brand campaign like that. And yeah, that's why I will also show you how you can do that today. I will show it in my own ad account here, ZenoX Media ad account. I will just set up a brand campaign. I don't really need it in my case right now because we're not heavily advertising and we get most of our sales from social media. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I still could set it up, again, like it doesn't cost much. Of course, you should have like some sort of conversion tracking in place. Not really the case for me right now. But I will show you for the sake of the video. So you can also do like sales. Let's do, it always changes the interface a little bit. Create a campaign without guidance, search, continue, and let's set it up now. Then website visits, yeah, let's check out the website. Perfect, what do we have here? Beautiful. Some filthy self-promotion here. No, let's go back. All right. Then I call it, yeah, search brand maybe. Something like that, so you know what it is, right? Doesn't really matter. And the bidding, there are a couple of bid strategies that work really well. You want to avoid focusing on smart bidding strategies like focusing on maximize conversions, maximize conversion value. Why? Because then a brand campaign can be quite expensive as well for no reason, although you can get the click much, much cheaper. But those bid strategies, they just tend to be a bit more expensive in that case, right? So it doesn't make sense. It can work quite well for a brand campaign, yeah, even optimizing on a higher impression share, but that can also be sometimes quite expensive. Or what I still like the most is manual CPC for a brand campaign. It depends, sometimes that performs better than that. We had cases where maximizing on conversions even performed better than manual CPC, so it always depends on the case as well, but in most cases maximize clicks or manual CPC, in my opinion. Google is still kind of sneaky with that because I don't even see manual CPC here right now. I usually set it in the Google Ads editor, so in the offline app. But let's move forward with maximize click and set a bid limit here. It's quite effective anyway. And yeah, you can start a bit higher. You can play around with it a little bit and test it, where you get the best output. But yeah, let's say we want to have like a max bid of 65 cents in that case, right? That's cool. That works for me. Then you can keep that on. Like that's something where I usually switched off. For like a generic search campaign, doesn't make much sense. You have a lot of wasted ad spend. For brand campaign, it's quite different sometimes. It can make sense, but yeah, I still don't like it. So just keep it off for the sake of simplicity here. Then languages, let's say all languages, locations. Let's say I focus on the US market, and I can do it here. I would just do it like that. No, this campaign doesn't have political ads. No audience segment, not needed. Just skip that. What else do we have? Perfect. We can just move forward. Then, no, we'll skip that as well. Wait. Ugh. So check that, keep everything turned off. And we skip that as well, correct? We do that manually, right? We so much stuff here. So Canadian Ecom legend, perfect. Nothing Canadian about me at all. Why is it loading here so weirdly? Wait. All right, it was buggy as hell. It still kind of looks off here, but yeah. All right. Anyway, we can move forward now. So here as a keyword, we want to have. All right. Yeah, that's how Google is, right? In the most random situation, you kind of have to confirm that stuff. We'll pause it for now. All right. Thank you, Google. We are back and verified. So I will just put my keyword in here in order for it to be exact match. Wait, I have to check how to do that on keyboard. Otherwise, we'll adjust it later. Yeah. Okay, if you have it like that, with those brackets, it's exact match. We don't want to have it broad because then it's not a brand campaign anymore, right? If you have a broad keyword, it goes in very different directions. Then you might show up when somebody's looking for media agency or Google Ads agency, which you do not want for a brand campaign, right? You'd only want to show up for your brand search terms. So what they can do is ZenoX Media, or like your brand as exact match and your brand as phrase match. And phrase match you do like this. But I'll also show you where you can change that later. Right, then you have the URL, this display path. We will do Google agency. Cool Canadian Ecom legend. I would say Austrian Ecom legend, but sure enough. Then ZenoX Media, the brand name. I like to pin that at position 1 because that's what people are actually looking for in that case, right? So that should pop up immediately, like ZenoX Media. We'll see a preview here. Then it will always be at number 1, right? The rest can pop up wherever. Like that can pop up, this can pop up. Like you give it a bit more freedom here. I like the suggestions it takes from my website. We can keep that. Working with 8+ niches, yeah, cool. And then you can do a bit more, right? Even descriptions, we get that directly from the website in that case. Pretty solid. pretty accurate, pretty nice as well. We help Ecom brand scale and grow this. That makes no sense. All right, grow the store. Cool, we can keep that. Then business name, we will also do ZenoX Media. That will also pop up here then. We'll see it now. Business logo, we can add that. Yeah, perfect. Also from the website. And then you can also have site links, right? They will pop up below. I don't know what is previous law. They will pop up below the ad here. Then you can do like special offer or whatever it is, like sale. It depends on your business, right? About us, whatever you want to link here and you think it's relevant. And I would always recommend to add that. And the reason for that is it can make your ad look much, much bigger because you see the ad here, right? It's quite small. If you show up in position 1 and Google decides to show your site links as well, which it doesn't always do, but it can, right? It will make your ad look much, much bigger. You take up so much more space for the same price in the end, right? For the same money, kinda, to explain it in simple terms, which like you pop up way, way bigger, and therefore click-through rate is way higher as well. So it makes a lot of sense. I will show you. Maybe we will see it nicely in the preview. All right, let's do that for my brand now. For my brand ad, so basically you want to have at least 4. That's good. 2 to 4 can show at all times. Let's do about us. So we'll get the final URL here. Call it about ZenoX Media, and then you just like a quick description, you know, like I don't know. We'll do that, and then process. So you do that with 4 links. Basically, I would just, for sake of simplicity, I will do it with 2 here. Our process. I don't know. Just want to copy something that makes sense. Whatever. Here is how it works. All right. Perfect. Let's do that and create this. Let's see if you see it in the preview already. Yeah, all right, that's how it looks here, but sometimes it's a bit more prominent. It depends. Also on mobile it looks different. In either case, it makes sense to edit, especially if you're, but make sure you link to relevant pages, you know, don't link to like some bullshit pages that are not relevant for you. Of course, link to a relevant page. Same with callouts, right? You can do that as well. They pop up in a similar fashion. Maybe we see it here in the preview already. Best Google agency for ecom brands. It's just like it's literally just a short call out, whatever is relevant. Like it's almost like a feature benefit section. Maybe you can use it as that. No retainer. All right. Save. Perfect. Maybe we'll see it in one of the previews here. All right, and that's pretty much it. Then you click on done. Then you have the ad here. And we double check some things. Budget doesn't need to be that high for a brand campaign. Again, the click will be quite cheap anyway. Now we'll publish it and then just double check some things. Also with the keywords, what I mentioned earlier, publish campaign. All right. Perfect. I will pause it straight away because I don't intend to run with that right now. Then you go to keywords, but there you see exact match, phrase match. There you can also change that, right? But all good, so that's set properly. Then we check the ad again. Looks quite sweet as well. There you can like always adjust things, double check it. All right, no, all looks good. Under review, and then you're ready to go. Then let's go back. There you can also adjust the campaign settings. You can double check the location targeting, language targeting, etc. Bid strategy. All right, yeah, we have maximize clicks now. And I think here we can switch to, yeah, there you can switch to manual CPC now. Like you didn't even have to during the setup process. It's crazy. They try to hide it because they want to move away a little bit from it, but it's also very effective for a brand campaign. I will stick to maximize clicks now. That's also beautiful with a CPC limit. You can also start without it. It works quite well for a brand campaign. Otherwise, I would avoid it in general as well. And yeah, sales. Double check again location, languages, so you make sure you don't have any mistakes here. Then you're good to go. That's it. And then you have a working brand campaign. Just observe it. Like, does it get clicks? Is anything going wrong in the next couple of days? Or is the CPC looking after some time? And based on that, you can adjust then and make some tweaks. But that's a very basic and very simple campaign that makes a lot of sense for the reasons previously outlined. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something new today, and see you in the next one.